Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Friday. Happy President-elect Donald Trump Friday.
Hey, that's a good name for it.
You know what tomorrow is?
Saturday?
No.
Happy President-elect Donald Trump Saturday?
That's what it is. I want to talk about the video that was recently put out here by Donald Trump. I think it was put out yesterday. And Donald Trump has, I think it's a 10-point plan to address the deep state. And this is definitely something that I know that I think when people are talking about Donald Trump going in and getting revenge, they think that him going after the deep state is somehow or another the way he's going to end up getting revenge on people. And so there's a lot of shaking in their boots for whatever it is that Donald Trump is going to do. So let's talk about the plan that he has put out here and how it's going to materialize.
Here's my plan to dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all, and corruption it is. First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively. Second, we will clean out all of the corrupt actors in our national security and intelligence apparatus, and there are plenty of them. The departments and agencies that have been weaponized will be completely overhauled so that faceless bureaucrats will never again be able to target and persecute conservatives, Christians, or the left's political enemies, which they're doing now at a level that nobody can believe even possible. Third, we will totally reform FISA courts, which are so corrupt that the judges seemingly do not care when they are lied to in warrant applications. So many judges have seen so many applications that they know were wrong, or at least they must have known. They do nothing about it. They're lied to. Fourth, to expose the hoaxes and abuses of power that have been tearing our country apart, we will establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption, and there are plenty of them. Fifth, we will launch a major crackdown on government leakers who collude with the fake news to deliberately weave false narratives and to subvert our government and our democracy. When possible, we will press criminal charges. Sixth, we will make every Inspector General's office independent and physically separated from the departments they oversee so they do not become the protectors of the deep state. Seventh, I will ask Congress to establish an independent auditing system to continually monitor our intelligence agencies to ensure they are not spying on our citizens or running disinformation campaigns against the American people, or that they are not spying on someone's campaign like they spied on my campaign. Eighth, we will continue the effort launched by the Trump administration to move parts of the sprawling federal bureaucracy to new locations outside the Washington swamp. Just as I moved the Bureau of Land Management to Colorado, as many as 100,000 government positions could be moved out, and I mean immediately, of Washington to places filled with patriots who love America, and they really do love America. Ninth, I will work to ban federal bureaucrats from taking jobs at the companies they deal with and that they regulate. So they deal with these companies and they regulate these companies, and then they want to take jobs from these companies. Doesn't work that way. Such a public display cannot go on, and it's taking place all the time, like with Big Pharma. Finally, I will push a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on members of Congress. This is how I will shatter the deep state and restore government that is controlled by the people and for the people. Thank you very much.
Oh, man. Oh, you took the music out, right? The best part of the Dark Knight soundtrack that somebody put under that. I don't know that they did it. I'm going to have to go listen to that again and get the conclusion of that. It's such an amazing plan. It is such an amazing 10-point with specificity. And I saw somebody in the comments here comment and say it sounds like the MAGA version of lawfare. Well, we sure know what the non-MAGA version of lawfare looks like. And for anybody who thinks that, just sit down, take a deep breath, breathe in, breathe out. We're talking about using the levers of representative government to check the government, not the people on the other side of the power that is currently existing with a political party. Huge difference. When you go in and use representatives that change with every single election cycle to check the balance of power from bureaucrats who are never elected, who are nameless, who are faceless, who know with exceeding arrogance that they can continue to control the levers of government, and nobody even knows what their name is. Donald Trump, the people's president, is going to come into office on January 20th and put into play his 10-point plan to make sure that the American government serves the people that sent them there, and if they don't serve the people who sent them there, they go home. Plain and simple. Lawfare is when people with power wield their power against helpless people who have no recourse. We have seen that in action, and I would say that the American electorate just said this week, enough. Enough of it. We don't do lawfare like this anymore. Give the government back to the people. And if this makes you nervous, raise your hand. We want to know which ones you are that are nervous by this new people first, America first idea of government. That's what Donald Trump represents. And yes, he's ready to do the work. And we know in a 10-point specified plan what that work is.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to file what Annie just said away for when this starts happening in January and February. People, and the news media especially, are going to freak out and say that he's destroying the government.
We're gonna laugh at that.
That's the point. If you have people in your life or in your media telling you that the elected representatives are destroying the permanent, faceless, nameless representatives that you don't elect, that's a problem. It's good to get rid of those people, or at least have checks and balances on those people, which is what this entire 10 points is about.
Yes. It's so good. It's so good. And, you know, yeah, it might happen in February when he takes office and starts putting this plan in place. But this is right now, folks. This is what has happened since Donald Trump has been elected. A little montage. Everybody likes a good montage, right? A little montage.
If the Democrats fail, it might be the end of American bureaucracy.
Our bureaucracy really is in fundamental peril.
The foundations of American bureaucracy under attack. They want to destroy our bureaucracy.
We are a bureaucracy in danger.
We're watching an election where people are on the ballot openly advocating the end of bureaucracy.
That's what Republicans are doing, attacking bureaucracy, attempting to destroy bureaucracy, and they're doing it with glee.
This is the end of bureaucracy in America.
When will America stop sleepwalking towards the end of bureaucracy?
Right. It's Democrats versus, as Bill Kristol says, the end of bureaucracy.
We are essentially, as Neil put it, one vote away from sort of the end of bureaucracy as we know it.
I think our bureaucracy and the stability of that bureaucracy is really the thing on the ballot and really so important.
Is that Kinzinger?
Yeah. Oh. That last one was.
Oh, baby. Who's a sad boy?
That's a lot of fun.
So much fun. This is so much fun. I'm moving into my, let the emotions out phase. That'll probably be over by the end of the weekend. We'll get down to work, get to do the work or whatever that is on Monday. But here's why it's so much fun to me, because they still don't get it at all.
Well, it makes so much what's so funny about that clip is that somebody took all those clips of people saying it's the end of democracy and just replaced the word bureaucracy.
It's a little more honest.
Over it. And it sounds so much more honest as to what they were actually saying.
And like an idea I would co-sign.
Yes.
The bureaucracy is not representative of the American people. And, you know, you've got the opportunity to replace people anytime a new administration comes in. You've got the opportunity to replace people that are at the top of these different departments or whatever it might be. There are people who can't be replaced. Like, for instance, the Fed chair. Donald Trump can't come in and fire him. And he said yesterday he ain't going to quit. Okay. But when you look at, the people who are at the heads of the Justice Department, of our investigative organizations. There is so much that can be done to return that back to the people, but you have to trust the person who's making the decision to go in there, to say that they're going to do it. You have to trust that they understand the why that you do it. Not just, oh, it's a good thing to say and people are going to really like the idea. Like, oh, let's give the government back to the people. That sounds, okay, yes, good idea. Sounds great. Hard to, like, argue with that point. All of these people on all of these mainstream outlets are weeping over the idea of the bureaucratic stability of the American government going away. It's the whole point. And it's going to happen.
I'm so glad that he's released this video so quickly to make it clear this is a huge priority for me.
Right.
This is one of the reasons you elected me. This is day one stuff or week one stuff, however you want to put it. I tell you what, I almost said this in the first segment. The big headline kind of sexy news stuff that the people are going to be talking about is the cleaning up of the corruption in law enforcement. And that's what a lot of these points are about.
And law enforcement is at a...
Not your local police.
Yeah, that's a high level.
We're talking about FBI, CIA. We're talking about people who are way above our pay grade, doing things that he's talking about, spying on campaigns, getting rid of all that stuff. But the one thing in there, and I was waiting for it because I got through about half this list yesterday, and then I got distracted by other work, and so I hadn't heard the rest of it. I got through about number 5. And so all the rest of those, I'm writing them down because oh, yeah, okay. And I really hope he gets to the rest because he's talking mostly about high-level law enforcement here. And the other things, too, like the FISA courts. That's good. But number 9, he says ban bureaucrats from becoming basically revolving door employees at the places they regulate.
Yeah, who gets serviced by that? The pharma companies, the big companies, and then the lobbyists who give them what they want.
It is almost every big industry in the United States that will be affected by this, and they do not have your best interests in mind. You talk about corporate collusion, all that stuff that traditional liberals used to hate. This is that stuff. This is the stuff that real conservatives hate. If he's going in and busting that up, I am so excited.
I really liked number 8, where he talked about moving parts of the federal bureaucracy to new locations outside of Washington, D.C., physically spreading stuff out. Like, when you have standing water, you got to get rid of standing water so you don't have those blood-sucking insects everywhere. So you got to take these things and you got to spread these out across the country.
Talking about bugs or DC?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I think the idea of putting these, like, I know why they were in Washington to begin with. It's because when they wrote the Constitution and when they built these agencies, you had horses and carriages and you needed to talk to people and you had old school mail with ponies. Now you've got the internet, jets, mass transportation. You can get to places farther away faster and you can communicate easy. I think that moving people away from the swamp where they're so easily influenced and they can focus on what they're supposed to be doing is going to have a bigger impact than anybody actually understands.
It's nice.
Remember that we did it on the live stream. It's really hard to do this on the air, but they shared I'll retweet it right now. Those dogs walking around yesterday. It says Trump voters today, and it's just dogs walking around strutting.
Yeah, they look like they're just either prancing or proud.
It's just
they're
very happy. I totally relate to it.